Welcome to Seawaywhiskywire. Tonight on the bar, we've got the Laphroaig Quarter Cask single malt Scotch whiskey. Stay tuned. Well, hey, thanks for coming back after the intro, guys. I'm Tyler, and tonight on the bar, we've got the Laphroaig Quarter Cask single malt Scotch whiskey coming in from the Laphroaig distillery on the island of Islay. And Laphroaig is one of the three big distilleries on the south coast of Islay, in Laphroaig, Ardbeg, and Lagavulin, respectively, all stationed and situated on that southern coast. But yeah, we'll talk a little bit about Laphroaig Distillery and get a feel for the distillery. So the Laphroaig Distillery is located in Port Ellen on the island of Islay in Scotland, and it's named after the land at the head of Loch Laphroaig on the south coast of the island of Islay. The Laphroaig Distillery was officially established back in 1815 by brothers Donald and Alexander Johnson. However, there is evidence that suggests it might have been operating even sooner due to illicit distilling that was taking place before that date. In 1847, Laphroaig was granted a royal warrant by Prince Charles, who was later King Charles I, and recognizing it as an exceptional whiskey of exceptional quality. So it's kind of interesting. There's only 5 royal warrants that have been issued to different distilleries, and those royal warrants are owned by Laphroaig number 1, Royal Lochnar, Johnny Walker, Dewars, and the famous Grouse. And so every time a royal warrant is issued, it lasts for 5 years, and then it has to be renewed. So Laphroaig has actually been designated with a royal warrant from Prince Charles, now King Charles, so they're awaiting a new royal warrant. The other 4 distilleries that I listed off there were appointed by Queen Elizabeth. So they have applied for new warrants, but have not been issued them yet. At least I didn't see anything in there. But basically, your warrant will last for 5 years or until the monarch passes away. So you've got Laphroaig's basically the only one holding a royal warrant right now in the whiskey category at this particular time until he reissues them to the other distilleries. In the 20th and 21st century, Laphroaig has continued to thrive, gaining a loyal following among whiskey enthusiasts around the world. And the distillery has expanded its range of expressions, offering a variety of aged whiskeys as well as some really cool special limited edition releases and non-aged statements, respectively, like the Quarter Cask here. Laphroaig has become a popular destination for tourism on the island of Islay, with thousands of visitors flocking to the distillery every year to learn about their whiskey making process and sample its renowned single malts. Laphroaig is kind of neat also because they have a kind of like a Laphroaig fan club, Friends of Laphroaig, which you're issued a passport every time you buy a bottle of Laphroaig whiskey. I've got mine right here that came with the bottle of Quarter Cask, and there's a code inside there, and genius marketing ploy for them, but basically you can go in and register your bottle and they will actually issue you a 1-by-1 plot on the island of Islay. So I'm going to put my plot up here and some information on it. They'll issue you a nice little certificate as well, but it's pretty neat. So basically they give you this 1-by-1 plot of land on Islay. It's yours, it's yours forever, and as long as you live, and you can collect rent every year. You can collect annual rent. If you venture to Islay, to the distillery, and go up to them and say, I want to collect the rent, they will issue you 1 dram payment. Obviously, it's not going to be in back pay or anything like that, but they will give you a dram of whiskey. They will also provide you, in accordance with the certificate, they will also provide you with provisions to go and check out your piece of property, whether that's with, there's boots, there's hats, there's some stuff about some rain gear in there. Watch out for low-lying birds and all sorts of stuff. It's just a really great marketing gimmick, and I really appreciate it, being a whiskey nerd and being able to have that. So yeah, I'm gonna get my certificate published here and get it hung up somewhere on the bar. But yeah, if you buy a bottle of Laphroaig and see that little passport in there and kind of just check to the side, spend the time and go register. You'll be glad you did for sure. So let's get into the bottle and the specs on the bottle here. So Laphroaig Quarter Cask is a non-aged statement from the island of Islay here. Comes in around, I believe it's something around 50 ppm. Non-chill filtered, and I believe there's no color added, but I'm going to say there's color added because I couldn't find anything that said otherwise. 48% ABV, so a much higher jump up than the usual standard 43% Laphroaig 10. At least it's 43% here in Canada. Over the UK, it can be 40%, I believe. Maturation process. So they use ex-bourbon maturation, and then they finish it in quarter casks. And what a quarter cask is basically a smaller barrel that they put this in here, and what they claim is that it gives, there's less liquid in there, and it gets more surface contact with the quarter cask, which then imparts more flavor to it. Overall, classic Laphroaig bottle here. Sorry, we'll get into the presentation now. Overall, classic Laphroaig bottle here. There's some information on here. It doesn't say anything about the color, which is unfortunate. It does say that it's non-chill filtered, which is really nice. There's some lore about the distillery and purpose of why they do the quarter cask maturation process and what have you. And yeah, honestly, I'm gonna give it a pass. The classic bottle. I love the green glass, and it's nice and tall. It doesn't take up too much space in the bar, so you get a pass for me on that right there. So with that, we'll get into the pour and take a look at the color of the liquid of the Laphroaig Quarter Cask single malt Scotch whiskey. And here comes the peat. Yeah. So we'll get into the color here and have a look here at the liquid. And you can see it's a nice, it's a deeper golden color. It's not too bad. It is darker. And given that it's a non-age statement, you look at it and compare it against something like an Ardbeg 10-year-old where there's no color added, you can definitely see there is some color added to the liquid for sure on there. So we'll get into the nose, but before we do that, if you want to pour a dram of Islay and drink along with me, maybe you have some Laphroaig Quarter Cask, maybe you've got some Laphroaig 10-year-old, maybe you got some Laphroaig 10-year-old cask strength or Carchis or anything special release Laphroaig. If you have a dram in front of you and you want to drink along with me, please do so. I encourage it. It makes life a lot more fun, and I enjoy you guys drinking along with me and sharing the experience. So with that, we'll get into the nose on the Laphroaig Quarter Cask single malt. So right away on the nose, I'm getting the sweet peat. The peat's pretty, like, it's not a medicinal peat, like it is, but it's not super medicinal like a Laphroaig 10 would be. It's not that iodine note. It's really, I guess it's got the iodine there. It's just not super heavy. And I haven't had this bottle for too long. I should add that too. This bottle's only been open for about a month, so it's not too old. Sweet honey on the nose as well. Vanilla, definitely some vanilla on there. Some ocean brine. You get that nice salty coastal note. Lemons. A little bit of caramel note, like just a tinge. It's not overly caramel. Like creosote or like some ash on there as well. The campfire is burning down for the night, and you get kind of that dirty, ashy creosote kind of smell to it there. And you can definitely smell the oak off of it too. You can definitely get that oak flavor. But it primarily, like, you know, a semi-medicinal peat, vanilla, honey, lemon, and brine really is the core of the nose for sure. All right, with that, let's get into the taste here. Get on the palate and see what we can discover in the Laphroaig Quarter Cask. So hopefully you're at home there drinking along with me. Slàinte, to your health, and let's dive into it. So definitely, again, you get that hit of Laphroaig peat. It's more medicinal than campfire. Definitely different than the nose. It's more of a traditional Laphroaig peat flavor. Is it a peat bomb? I would say for the inexperienced, yeah. For me, I'm pretty much enjoying it. It's not overly hitting me too hard. Again, 50 ppm. It's nothing out of the ordinary for me. But you definitely get that more medicinal note in the peat. I'm also getting some salt, and it's around my lips and hanging out there too. That coastal brine note that you would expect to get from a coastal whiskey like Laphroaig. I'm getting some honey as well. Caramel notes. You get a nice punch of that oak at the back end, and it kind of follows with some ginger characteristics as well. Yeah. So you get that peat, that's sweet at the beginning, and then it kind of develops at the back end. It's not peppery. You get those tannins of the oak, so you get that little bit of bitterness. Ginger powder So it's like a spicy ginger, like almost like a cough drop or a cough syrup kind of flavor as well, like a menthol eucalyptus kind of flavor at the back end, and then it's just a nice little sweet finish. Yeah, very nice. All right, very nice indeed. So we'll get into the finish, and I'll give you my opinion on that. I'm gonna have one more sip here and let you know about the finish. So honestly, it's probably what I would call a short to medium finish, but I would lean more towards the medium. It's a warming dram. This is a dram, cold, rainy day like today. You want to have a dram like this to warm you up and get that. And the peat is nice and warming. It goes on and hangs around. The flavor profile, again, medium finish, and hangs around, but it's kind of drifting. But the peat hangs in there, which is really, really nice. That's something I really enjoy it. Primarily a sweet dram as well. More sweet notes, more vanilla. Really, those bourbon notes are there and present and heavy. You get a little bit of like freshness of a lemon in there as well, but really it's focusing more on those honeys, those icing, sugary kind of flavors too. A little bit of toffee and caramel, but it's mainly just like vanilla and honey. And then you get that little bit of oak kick in it, really, from the quarter casks, I would assume. It's a very, very friendly and easy to kind of approach dram. I mean, is any Laphroaig really easy? To me, it's a great little dram. 48% ABV. It's not damaging me. It's not hurting the nose. It's not banging the palate. It's a very smooth and clean dram, even though you do have those kind of ashy, creosote, kind of tar notes as well in there for the flavor. But yeah, very nice, very good presentation from Laphroaig, being that it is a non-age statement. And with that, we're going to get on to the value proposition. So the value proposition for Laphroaig Quarter Cask, this comes in my area at just over $100. And it's only about, I want to say about $5 to $6 more than the Laphroaig 10-year-old. Might be a little bit more actually now that I think of it. But I mean, it's not much more than the Laphroaig 10-year-old. I've had a bottle of Laphroaig 10-year-old, loved it. And Mrs. Seaway got this for me as a birthday gift because I like the 10 so much. And this is really a step up, and it's not just like a little step up. This is a fairly big step up. Yeah, it's non-age statement. You get that nice, beefy, full-fledged Laphroaig of peat in there, and it's not just reliant on the peat, which is kind of what I like about it more so than the Laphroaig 10-year-old. The Laphroaig 10-year-old, I find, you have it. It's really peat heavy. You get those kind of bourbony notes to it too. The bourbon notes are all up and increased, and the peat flavor is there too. But it's just you're making. It's not just peat. It's peat into those bourbon notes there, and you get that nice kind of fresh finish on the back end that I don't get from the Laphroaig 10-year-old. So with that being said, would I recommend the Laphroaig Quarter Cask? Yes, I'm gonna recommend that you go out and get the Laphroaig Quarter Cask. Am I gonna say skip the 10-year-old? If you haven't experienced the 10-year-old yet, I would say, I'm always kind of big on going through the journey and going down the core range line. So I would encourage you to try the 10-year-old. It's a classic. It's something that you should be trying anyways. But if you have tried the 10-year-old and you're looking to kind of amp that up or what have you, I'd definitely go out and grab the Quarter Cask. I'm going to be buying the Quarter Cask over the 10 exclusively now, and it's just going to be a main staple in the bar. It's something that I can give people that haven't really have wanted to try some Laphroaig peat and those iodine notes and that medicinal peat notes, and then also extend the flavor profile, which something is, honestly, I think the Laphroaig 10 kind of falls flat on that one. So again, newer bottle, haven't had it open too long. I'm down almost to half now, and the peat's not going flat on me, so I'll keep in mind that, and as we go through time, I'll kind of revisit this and see how we go with that peat and see if it hangs on. I've heard it goes flat the odd time, but so far so good on this one. So yeah, there's my thoughts on the Laphroaig Quarter Cask non-age statement single malt Scotch whiskey from the island of Islay and the Laphroaig distillery. So I'll leave you with that. If you like what we're doing here at Seaway Whiskey Wire, you know the drill, guys. Like and subscribe down below. And, you know, for those of you who are stuck around this long to watch, thank you very much. I hope you're enjoying the content, and I love bringing it to you guys. This is a really fun little kind of side gig for me, and I'm really enjoying bringing you guys the content. I've also got the Instagram account running off and having lots of fun with that too. So you can follow me on Instagram if you haven't already done so, at Seaway Whiskey Wire. So I'll leave you with that. All the best to you. Slange, to your health. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.